Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of The Stable. So hopefully this one isn't bad. I'm using my iPhone again because I misplaced one GoPro and all of my batteries were dead, so it's just easier to shoot with my phone. Jalen's car is running good after the whole front mount intercooler. The 86, I just reached out to it's Core something. Anyways, they sell the quarter horse still for the Fox body, so I need that because with that it'll control the timing, all that extra stuff, so I don't have to run like the Fireball or Crane ignition system, anything like that. I can do it all with the quarter horse, so that is ordered and is actually on its way already. The guy shipped it out today. So last weekend in red, we replaced the power steering rack. The steering is still super, it's sloppy. It actually started happening last year at All Ford Day on the final best pass. It was like a 12.2, I think. Wasn't anything great, but it kept pulling to the left, and that's when I noticed the steering was really bad. If I can flip this camera around here, well, maybe I can point to it. You guys can see the steering rack on the 86. We put a new rack joint in there when I put that car together, but the one in the 96 has never been touched. I don't think it has a rack joint, but it's just worn. So if I can reach it here, so I bought this nice piece from Maximum Motorsport, so hopefully that fixes my issues. And we're gonna get that in. Hopefully the smaller supercharger pulley, which is that is a 3.12 on there. I believe the one I have in the car is a 2.87. So 6 rib. Hopefully we don't get a lot of belt slip. We'll see. I do have the 96 timing cover on there with a 3-bolt tensioner. And if you guys can kind of see it down there, all nice and pretty, that's the Thump Racing belt tensioner. So hopefully that's enough. But the goal is to get that pulley on there and then see what size belt I need after that. So that's the game plan with this. And if we get around to it, I'll show you here. We'll be installing one more thing. Just had to get it out the trunk, but we have a battery relocation kit. So don't mind the plastic still on top and bottom. But that's the last piece we're gonna try to get in there. I have all the accessories, the wire, all that stuff inside the box already. I just kind of put it together over at my house. I called Banamir today and they said I do need a quick disconnect switch mounted somewhere on the car to be able to race. So the game plan is, and if I remember, I'll put a picture up, but I want to put my switch right behind this license plate and then use spacers to bring the license plate out so normal street driving, you'll never know that it's behind the license plate, and then at the track I can just pull my license plate off and there's a switch right here on the trunk. So there's another guy on the SN95 forums, that's where he put his, and it was super clean, and I like that you could hide it and you wouldn't have to drive around and everybody can see the battery switch on the back, because I would like to keep this car, well, continue to try to make this car as clean as possible. So that's the game plan, guys. So there is the old compared to the new. That one just extended. So the part inside the car, that was a 10mm bolt. The one on the bottom was a 13. So I guess the only thing next with this one is says heat to remove these plastic sleeves, put grease on those ends, put the sleeves back over, and then install that in the car. Seems pretty simple. The only thing is with this new power steering rack in here, I tried to clean everything up, so I had to unloosen those bolts to pull the power steering rack out a little bit. However, I noticed that one of the lines on the rack is leaking, and of course it's the bottom one, so I'm gonna have to remove that top line, lose a little bit of my fluid, and then to get to the bottom one, to tighten that one up, and then put the top one back in. But I'm glad I caught that leak. Notice that the valve cover is leaking from the very back, so I might try to tighten those up. But yeah, so that should be that as far as the steering shaft goes. All right, I don't know how well you can see from the top. Maybe. Got the new steering shaft in. It's already tightened. You just reuse that 10mm bolt that I told you that was from the inside. So now I just got to reconnect it to the power steering rack. I'll see if I can grab my dad and have him sitting here and make sure the steering wheel's straight when I reconnect everything. And then I'll come down here You guys can see that space in the power steering rack right there where I loosened it to get it on. But those two, this line right here is the one that's leaking, so gotta tighten that up. All right, guys, so to be honest with you, try to buy these strap wrenches to get this pulley off, to try to get the new pulley on, but this pulley just will not loosen up no matter what I do. So the only other option I can think of is pull the whole head unit off, use the impact on there, but I really don't know if I want to go that far. So we skipped on to the next part, which is the battery relocation. So I pulled the splash guard in here, and if you can see, back behind that bracket up there, there's a grommet in there. I'm going to feed this wire in there, so we will have the wire in the car at that point. We'll run it down below probably the skid panel, up through the carpet, up underneath the seats at the back, and to the back over here. And you can kind of see, maybe we can make use of some of the holes that are in here already. These were the original holes that were for the ice tank before we switched to the P&R right there. So maybe we can utilize some of those ones and not have to drill many more holes in there, because one day I will get that fixed. But like I said, the switch, I'm gonna try to run the cable up through here nice and neat, mount it somewhere right here, have our switch here and little like nylon piece or something, so the license plate will actually stick up off of here, but the switch will be hidden underneath there for street driving. Up. Too far?
A little bit there.
All right, so that is being fed through there now. Don't look at the camera like that. Hold on, let me untangle this. There. Being careful not to have the car sheet metal right there eat up the coating of this. All right, stop right there. So guys, so now we'll take the end of this wire right here, and we can run it up through that square right there. So that is the next step. All right, guys. So as you can see, it was just easier to kind of drop the gas tank just to make sure I didn't puncture it. But we got our two holes there and there. We can use one of the pre-existing ice tank holes for the vent on there, and then we're probably going to end up mounting the fuse. I'm going to probably Velcro right there, and then over the carpet you won't see it all. So that's the game plan right now. All right, guys, so as you can see, it's getting pretty dark, but hopefully my hand's not covering the speakers. But as you can see, we got this mounted in here. So I figured that's gonna be a short run from the negative over there behind the padding over there. I believe there's a factory ground over there, so that's where that will go. And this red wire we got will come around this backside and into the positive terminal. And then we also got our inline fuse we're gonna add in. So there's our negative battery cable. So everything is all tight from the bottom. And of course, you know, we're gonna have to trim down this all thread quite a bit. But there's a progress on there. It's not too bad. Yeah, I guess that's my opinions about it so far. It's kind of a pain, but I think it'll be worth it to kind of get more of this weight. So between the BMR K member, getting the battery to the back, it's gonna be like a total of 130 to 140 pounds off the front end. So still gotta get the battery tray out of there. Sorry, my hand's in the way. Still gotta get that battery tray out of there. And then you can see we got our new wire here. Is gonna go to the fuse. So I believe watching other YouTube videos, I can get rid of this small wire here. This red one will go to the factory fuse box right here, along with that power cable that will go there. And then this will get grounded here. Yeah. And then we'll get rid of that negative battery cable. I'll have to probably double check that stuff, but that's where we're at with it. All right, guys, as you can see, we made it back to my my house. So kind of got dark, kind of got cold. We got this thing pretty much finished up, as you can see. Maybe I don't have a light near me, but anyways, try to get a little closer for y'all. The battery relocation kit is pretty much done. The last thing, like I said, is to wire up a switch right there for the track. But it fired up the first time. We did everything right. I guess I can go ahead and show you guys the ground wires. Oh, and I didn't go over it, but that power wire runs from underneath the passenger rear seat all the way over here underneath this kick panel right here and up to through that firewall. So that's how we did it. But I will show you guys the ground wire because so that wire ran all the way up through the fender, up through the grommet where you have your cruise control cables and stuff go to, and then up here. So you see that's kind of an eyesore for me, not having the battery there, and it looks all nasty. Needs to get cleaned up. We took the alternator wire, the starter wire, and then the new wire that came from the new power wire. They all attach right there. And then as far as the ground wire, the negative goes, we got rid of that. And we taped up all our other wires, like the starter wire right there. And then this is where the negative wire used to be. The factory wires right there, you just pull the one out from the negative, put a ring on there, and you ground it there. And then the only other one, and I probably won't be able to show you, is the ground for the battery. It actually goes straight down through the old hole for the ice tank we had. And let me not touch this exhaust because it's hot. But if you guys can see, so on the bottom side of the car right there, you can see where we grounded the negative to the frame of the car. I need to probably shoot that with some rust prevention or something, so that isn't a problem if we get caught in any kind of weather. So the last things to do is, like I said, run the switch, and I need to get a hose because this little white fitting right there is actually a vent tube. You can kind of see it on that backside, and that vent tube is going to get ran straight down, and then we got our lid and everything right there. So kind of sucks having to back the car into the garage now because the smell of the exhaust goes right by the door. But I usually keep this thing on a trickle charger. But I did notice on the way over here, the voltage and everything was stronger with the battery. So I think it has to do with having better grounds now and the thicker wire, because normally it'd always be below 12 volts, and idling it was like at 13.5, and then driving over here it didn't drop below 12, so it was about 12.5 the whole time. Hopefully this video was all right. Like I said, I'm shooting on my iPhone because I forgot to charge the GoPros. We didn't kind of go step by step just because, like I said, I'm using my phone, so it's not like I could have a GoPro showing every little thing. Jalen was a huge help. Jalen's pretty much an electrician in our family, so any wiring or anything, we turn to him. And the last little bit before Bandamere, the T56 with the Cobra drive shafts going in, we got to get the RXT twin disc clutch, and then we got to take this up to Curtis at Fame Garage so he can do the rear, the whole rear end. 31 spline axles, we're gonna go up to 14 gears, the works on the rear end, and then have it dialed in for all 4-day, and then that will do it for this. And then the plan is also to have the 86 running. Whether we race it at all 4-day, I'm not sure, but I'm trying to have the 86 done for Streetcar Takeover. So hopefully that can happen. We got a few more things to buy, but like I said, I already bought the boat's quarter horse for that thing. So I'm probably gonna do like Brutal. If you guys check him out on YouTube, I'm probably gonna do like him. Reach out to Leach Motorsports. I believe they're in Oklahoma. Have him kind of do like a remote tune to dial it in. And if I can't go to him, then I will reach out to Finish Line and see if they have anybody who can do the old school tuning on the Fox body. So that's where we're at. I think we're in good shape. We might be cutting it a little bit close, but the plan is to have both the Mustangs ready, boosted, and then at the track. So stay tuned. Please, also, please be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.